Yeah, I guess you could call it a rescue. I would call it being transported from one side to the other, because what's happening right now is the roadway behind me, which is right off of Hotel Circle in Mission Valley, completely flooded. And the folks out here from the Swiftwater rescue teams and the lifeguards say that these waters can move quickly, because if you take a look at it, when we first got out here, it was about 7 o'clock, and the water was up to their knees. Now about down to ankle deep, where you would think, well, couldn't someone just walk across and get to their vehicle? They're saying not necessarily, and they want to take every precaution as possible, because the San Diego River is very high. You can see from the river, that's where a lot of the water is coming. The river's right behind the Premier Inn here. The water's rushing into this roadway, and before, right when we got here, it was even higher than it is now. And so they've been using this kind of rope that's tackled down to a tree over here, and then they're putting people in these rafts and moving them from place to place. The folks by twos and threes are putting on life vests, being moved from one side of the hotel and then to the other side so that they can get in their cars or get transportation out of here. A lot of people not wanting to stay in place. This all happened as of last night. They lost power at 7 p.m. and instead of starting last night with all of the rescues, folks said to stay in place. The police officers out here and the lifeguards said stay in place, and then tomorrow morning we'll work on getting you to drier ground. But right now things are really wrapping up. They're moving a couple of hotel guests one by one. You can see some folks coming from the corner there. The lifeguards have been going up and doing some checks to make sure that they've gotten every single person out of the hotel. This is a mandatory evacuation. So far, they've counted about 30 people. So folks staying at the Premier Inns overnight were having to leave no matter what this morning. They need to get out and they need to come over here, and they have to make sure that everyone is okay. Because while this rescue was going, you might hear a chopper overhead. There were reports coming in that there was a man spotted in the San Diego River. And so a lot of different search rescue efforts happening this morning, a joint effort by lifeguards and Swiftwater rescue teams as they get out here and get very busy for the morning. We spoke to one woman who was very shooken up just a little bit ago, talking about how she didn't know how to swim. So as you can see, and a lot of people from home, obviously living in San Diego where we have a lot of water around us, might think, well, the water is only ankle deep. Why is this such a problem? Really a precaution for a lot of people, but for folks that can't swim, even getting put into lifeboat, a raft like that is a scary situation. She was very shooken up. Some folks had their pets and belongings that they didn't want to get wet, so you could imagine if these waters were moving quickly that you could get knocked over fast. I want to take you to the other side though. As these people start to get their life vests on, we can see, actually let's just stay on this and we can watch these folks right here. It looks about 3 hotel guests are going to be put, and one woman has her small dog there, into these rafts, and we can see how throughout the morning they've been being transported from side to side. A lot of folks' cars still underwater on one side of the road, so even once they get over here, they're going to have to find transportation to wherever they want to get, whether it's their home. A lot of folks were actually visiting. We spoke to someone who was visiting from Arkansas a little bit earlier today. We spoke to a daughter and father who actually said that this wasn't scary at all, that they had a good time. So at least seeing the lighthearted part of all of this. But throughout the morning, this has been happening for about an hour now, where they've been transporting folks from one side to the other. People kind of nervous. The last people here getting into these rafts and making sure that they get safely to the other side, even though it does look like about a foot of water. For a lot of folks who don't know how to swim or aren't comfortable in this kind of situation, could be a very scary situation for a lot of people. And some people, as we can even see in the distance there, this man has a lot of luggage, probably doesn't want to get it wet, so trying to transport things from one side to the other, especially if you have all of your belongings, can be a little bit more difficult, as we can see there. But folks waking up, there's even sandbags at the front lobby of the room, waking up with about a foot of water in the lobby, and people saying that their walls and some of the areas around their room were wet, but not flooded inside, so they were able to sleep okay overnight even without power. But waking up this morning, they're definitely trying to get to drier ground. As we can see here, we'll see these women go to the other side of the street there, and we can just follow them along and send it back to you guys in the studio to see how all of this is working. But a very, very good job by our lifeguards and Swiftwater rescue team. Very busy. As I send it back to you guys in the studio, I do want to let you know that I talked to someone from the National Weather Service out here, and they said that this kind of water, while this is a flood-prone area, has not been like this since 2010. That the actual water count for the San Diego River, Raul and Christina, 14.1 feet. and it's not been that high since 2010. So I know as reporters we stand out here and let's go see these women as they get over to the drier ground. I know a lot of people say, oh, you know, all the reporters, they're in Mission Valley, it's flooded. Yes, we know. Well, this is actually a very significant event and has not happened in quite some time. No, you know what? This is something kind of Mother Nature takes its course as far as what's going on here. We've actually seen the waters recede a couple of inches even in the past half hour. So this is something that will happen over time throughout the day. And I'm sure that everyone here, as far as folks staying in the area and the lifeguards, fire, rescue, everyone who's working on this is just happy that there's no rain in our forecast for the rest of the week.